The genre I will discuss is romantic comedies, and the three films I will talk about are Sabrina, Pretty Woman, and Clueless. The genre I will discuss is romantic comedies. Romantic comedies are movies that have a light-hearted, humorous plot lines, and the center of that plot line is that true love always prevails. Romantic comedies usually end with a happily ever after. Romantic comedies are films that contain comedy and romance, and sometimes a subgenre, screwball comedies. But a romantic comedy is still classified as a film that has two genres, not a single new one. Because it has elements of comedy in it and romance in it. Usually, a typical romantic comedy is with two lovers who can be young, likable, or are meant for each other, yet there's an obstacle that keeps them apart. Examples could be class differences, previous boyfriend or girlfriend, or social pressures, but in the end, true love always prevails, and the two lovers are reunited and live happily ever after. The first movie I will talk about is the 1954 film by Bill Wilder, Sabrina. The movie centers on Audrey Hepburn's character, Sabrina Fairchild, who is the daughter of the Larry B. family's chauffeur, Thomas. Sabrina has been in love with David Larrabee, played by William Holden, her whole life. David is a playboy who does not notice Sabrina's affection. She is distraught and decides to commit suicide, but is saved by David's brother Linus, played by Humphrey Bogart. She then goes off to culinary school for 2 years in Paris and returns home an attractive and sophisticated woman. David then becomes drawn to her, and his brother Linus tries to impede their romance by seducing Sabrina himself. But after a while, he himself falls in love with her. Sabrina decides to return back to Paris, and David gives up going to Paris with her so his brother Linus can. He rushes after her on the ship, and they sail away together to Paris. The second film is the 1990 film by Gary Marshall, Pretty Woman. The main character, Edward, played by Richard Gere, is a wealthy businessman who, by chance, meets Vivian, played by Julia Roberts. Vivian is a hooker, and Edward offers her $3,000 to stay with him for a week. He buys her a whole new wardrobe, and he becomes visibly moved of her transformation. They eventually start to fall in love with each other. Vivian at first rejects his offer to save her and tells him that it's not what she imagined of a knight on a white horse coming to rescue her. She decides to leave and go back to her life. On his way to the airport, Edward realizes his feelings for Vivian and shows up to her apartment in a white limo representing the white horse she dreams of, and the two lovers reunite. The third and last film is the 1999 film by Amy Heckerling, Clueless. The main character, Cher, played by Alicia Silverstone, is a sweet but spoiled valley girl who at times is clueless. She tries to do the right thing all the time and help other people. When a new girl named Ty, played by Brittany Murphy, comes to her high school, she gives her a makeover. Ty soon develops a crush on Cher's ex-stepbrother, Josh, played by Paul Rudd, and wants Cher to set them up. This leads to a fight between the two friends, saying hurtful things to one another. Cher soon realizes that she herself has feelings for Josh and does not know how to tell him. She decides to change her life around and live a more purposeful life. Eventually, Josh and Cher admit their feelings for one another and they share a kiss, living happily ever after. In all the films, there is a comedy in the way the story is told, be it the main character or secondary characters. But at the core is the romance between the two main characters. A common theme is all the females are transformed, either it be physically or internally. We see the two main characters slowly realize that the feelings that they have for one another and the obstacles they face to express it to each other. There is always something or someone that stops the two lovers from being together. It's towards the end of the movie we always see the man will come to the realization that they have to go after the woman they love and perform a grand gesture and declare their love. We then see the two main characters live happily ever after, like in a fairy tale book. All romantic comedies usually end on a happy note with love conquering all.